Tuning into Sci-Fi TV, the viewer's guide to genre television for the weeks of August 29th to September 11th, 2015.
How did this happen? Where did it go? It should have been there last week's episode. I thought I was set up with my season pass. Now the new show is out, and I don't know what happened last week. How did my TiVo forget?
Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Brent Barrett.
I'm Kevin Batchelder.
And I'm Wendy Hembrock.
Couple of things to get out of the way. As usual, we have a current poll running that we're going to close down, and we're asking you, which Amanda Tapping character do you like the most? And of course, Sam Carter from Stargate has won with 58%, but Helen Magnus from Sanctuary, Amanda's own show, where she was one of the creators and producers, came in second at respectable 26%. We also got her Killjoys, Supernatural, and X-Files, and Millennium characters falling in underneath that, but no love for the Outer Limits or Forever Night characters. So her early career, not so fondly remembered, apparently.
Yeah, all those other roles are much more iconic. I know I went for the Sanctuary one.
Yeah, I went for Stargate because I really did like Sam Carter. I think a lot of our listeners might not have ever known her from those older shows, maybe. That's why she didn't get the nod.
Yeah, definitely. And we are going to have a new poll coming out probably by the time you hear this podcast. So go onto our site and check that out. And we will, as usual, be having another contest. Just wanted to let you guys know, in case you were wondering. We'll be announcing it pretty soon, probably. All right, let's head on over to our spoiler-free water cooler.
I'm Stephanie.
I'm Annie.
And I'm Chris. We are the hosts of Drinks at the Doll, a Lost Girl podcast.
Lost Girl is coming to an end. The final 8 episodes began airing on Showcase on September 6th. Join us to talk and weep about these last episodes of the series.
Find us in iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you download podcasts, or visit us at drinksatthedoll.com.
Cheers.
First up on the water cooler, as usual, we have our quick reviews. Give the shows we're on the last 2 weeks, because we were off for a week for DragonCon. Watch it now, watch it soon, let it sit on the DVR, or you can skip it rating. First up on the 30th of August, we have Fear the Walking Dead, episode 2 of its inaugural season. So close, yet so far. I would give this one a low-end watch it soon.
I'm still saving these.
I could only go low and watch it soon also.
All right, and we have the series finale of Falling Skies, episode 10 of season 5, Reborn. I decided not to watch it after listening and reading to everybody's perception, so I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I gave up years ago.
Yeah, I would give it a low watch it soon.
All right, that's sad. All right, moving on to The Last Ship, episode before the finale. It's episode 12 of season 2, Cry Havoc. Oh, man. Probably the highlight of the week for me. High-end watch it now.
I would go high watch it soon, maybe low watch it now.
Oh, I would definitely go watch it now.
All right, and rounding out Sunday, we have The Strain, episode 8 of season 2, Intruders. I give this one a high-end watch it soon.
Not a show I'm watching.
I'm not watching this either.
Okay, moving to Monday, we have The Whispers, episode 13 of season 1, Game Over. It is the season finale, and I am not watching.
Nor am I.
Well, they better renew this show. I would give it a low watch it now, and they gave a cliffhanger, so I need resolution, people.
I understand that. All right, moving to Tuesday, the 1st of September, we have From Dusk Till Dawn, episode 2 of season 2, In a Dark Time. I am not currently watching.
This one was good, but just a regular watch it soon.
I'm not watching either.
Okay, and Scream, MTV's show, episode 10 of season 1, the finale of the season. It has been renewed. Revelations. I'd say watch it soon.
Not one I watch.
I'm not watching this either.
All right, and we go to the 2nd of September, Extant, episode 11 of season 2, Zugzwang. Don't remember how it was pronounced on the show, so I'm going to guess there. I'd give it a high-end watch it soon.
Not on my viewing calendar.
I'm behind, and I haven't seen this one yet.
Okay, now we're on to Sunday, the 6th of September. We have Lost Girl, It's Back, episode 9 of season 5, 44 minutes to save the world. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble with Kevin for this, but watch it soon.
Yeah, no, it was a mid to upper watch it soon for me.
I haven't seen this yet either.
Okay, and the actual season finale of The Last Ship, episode 13 of season 2, A More Perfect Union. Still a really good episode. Not quite as good as the one before it, but pretty darn good. I'd say watch it now.
I'm looking forward to talking about it because I was not a fan of this one. I just give it a watch it soon.
Heaven? It was watch it now. I agree. The penultimate was a squeak higher, but just watch them all.
Yeah.
Didn't say it was bad, just not as much of a fan.
Clearly.
I will be very curious to hear your comments.
We shall chat.
Kevin, it's really, really good.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. All right, we also have on Sunday The Strain, episode 9 of season 2, The Battle for Red Hook. The Strain is, entertaining me pretty well. I would actually give this one, believe it or not, guys, a low-end watch it now.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Not when I'm watching, though.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that, too. I'm not watching it currently.
Okay, moving to Tuesday, the 8th of September, we have From Dusk Till Dawn, episode 3 of season 2, Attack of the 50-Foot Sex Machine. I think I've seen that movie. I'm not watching it right now.
This was an excellent episode. I'd give it a low watch it now.
I have not seen this.
All right, on Wednesday the 9th, we have Extant. It's a double episode season finale. Not sure if it's been renewed yet. I don't think it has, but it could be. It could either be a season or a series finale. Episode 12 of season 2, Double Vision, and episode 13 of season 2, The Greater Good. I would combine give these a low-end watch it now.
Not one I'm watching.
I'm waiting to catch up on this, and I've heard good things about how it ends.
Yeah, it's fun. All right. Friday the 11th, we have Continuum. It's back. Episode 1, Season 4. This is the U.S. schedule, folks. We know Canadian schedule is a week ahead of us, but we're going to rate these on the U.S. schedule. Lost Hours, it's entitled. And again, I don't know if my anticipation was just too high or what, but I didn't love it, but it was pretty good. I'd say high and watch it soon.
You took the exact words out of my notes. Same thing. Think maybe my expectations were a little too high going in, but still very solid. High, watch it soon.
Yeah, I agree. High, watch it soon.
All right, and the finale, season finale, we know it's been renewed of Sense8 has been streaming. I think I'm the only one keeping up with this, even though I saw it long ago. Episode 12 of season 1, I Can't Leave Her. And you know what? This is a watch it now.
Awesome. I'm actually hoping to catch up on the whole series here in September before our shows get back, so I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching this whole series based on you all's comments.
Kevin, if it's the show you need to watch in the background for a while until it gets good at the very end, do it.
Yeah, I watched the first couple, but I'm going to go back to Ep1 so I can see them all, very close together.
You masochist.
Yeah, I know going in it's going to be slow, but I too many people like you have mentioned how good it is, so I want to make sure I see it all together.
All right. We also have the watch and rewatch of The Almighty Johnsons. We're up to the next to last episode 12 of season 3 of the entire series. It's called Late to the Point of Knowledge, and I rated this a long time ago, but I think I rated it pretty high.
I'd give this one a watch it now. Very solid.
Yeah, I agree. Watch it now.
Excellent. All right. Well, moving on to some feedback. We actually got 3 voicemails from Justina who wanted to talk about 3 different things. So we're going to play each one of those individually and talk about them. So first up, Justina wants to talk about the Synthetic Friends Tuner Minute that Wendy did.
I really liked the series Humans this year, so it really did get me thinking on whether or not if synthetic humans were available, would I get one for my home? And, of course, I'm a little bit nervous because they're highly sophisticated computers, and if they were to get a glitch or something really scary could happen. But on the other hand, if there was a supercomputer that could perform human tasks, it would give me more time to do things that I want to do versus things that I have to do. So that's a big advantage. And even though they're not available yet in a human form, I feel like I already have a synthetic computer helping me with my life, because my phone keeps track of all my appointments and has an app on it that helps me track my calories and activities to help me keep healthy and keeps me entertained all day long. Also, it helps bridge the distance between people. My mom lives in another state now, and my phone and iPad help me stay connected. I grew up in a time where I had to go to the library once a week and fire up dial-up and check my email and see who had written. And since it wasn't very convenient, I didn't get to do it very often. Now, I have a device in my pocket to keep me connected, which is great, because ever since I started listening to podcasts and interacting with podcast communities, I have all these friends that live in all these different places that I don't get to see or talk to in person.
Oh, thanks, Justina. It's funny. After we did this 200 Minute, I started thinking a little more after we talked about it. And you're right. The idea of something to assist with some of this housework and things around here would be so super awesome. And be able to take advantage of that. I mean, I guess right now the closest I'm going to come is my Roomba. I'm still amazed it doesn't fall off the stairs or do something else. So pretty cool there. But some good points. Thanks, Justina.
Kevin, you actually have a Roomba?
Yes.
Oh, nice. It's funny because this topic actually came up when I was on the humans panel at DragonCon. We talked extensively about acceptance of these things, especially in regards to taking our jobs away. So it turned out this was kind of a timely question. And I think when we originally discussed this, I talked about wanting one that was going, I wanted Rosie the robot from the Jetsons to do chores, precisely that. But I think people will definitely find the value of them doing the dirty jobs that people just don't want to spend their time doing. My question was beyond just finding the value of their utility, but actually forming connections like we do with humans and with domestic animals and stuff like that too. So thanks, Justina.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Justina. When I heard you talking, I don't know if it was just me, when I heard you talking about having, when you're growing up, having to go to the library, I was thinking, oh yeah, you have to go to the library to read books and stuff. You can't read them online. There was no internet. And you're like, I had to use dial-up. And I'm like, oh, man, thanks for reminding me that I'm old. Thanks a lot.
Yes, I remember those days well.
Yeah, when it would take like 2 minutes just to get the connection.
Or how about trying to download something, a picture or something else? It was like, watching paint dry.
It's funny you mentioned going to the library, though, because I go to the library every week. But I generally don't take out books. I usually take out DVDs and books on CD and use it for research.
Cool. I just remember having to do school papers and having to go to the library to research them instead of going online.
Yeah, because you couldn't take the books out.
Yeah, encyclopedias and all those things. Yeah, my daughters have no idea about that. When I try to talk about it, their heads turn like a puppy. Like, what are you talking about?
You mean you took what's on the internet and you put it on paper and
you had to go somewhere?
Stuff used to be in books? You had to remember it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for that, Justina. We also have another voicemail from Justina. She wanted to talk a little bit about the Falling Skies series finale. There's no real spoilers in here, just general impressions. So,
in the last few weeks, Falling Skies has been getting some really low marks in the water cooler, and I know that they're stacking up on some of your DVRs. And I just wanted to say that I've been watching Falling Skies for all 5 years, and it is one of my favorite shows of the summer. And I do agree that this season wandered around a bit, and they drew out some things that didn't need to be drawn out and wasted time. And there is many aspects of the storyline that I wish that they would have spent that time exploring, like more alien backstory on the Dornia or what will happen with the Bohm. But all in all, the series finale was really, really good. I gave it a 10 out of 10. There are other people that I talked to that rated it lower than me, but I still think the lowest rating I heard was a 7. And they did a lot of great mirroring in the finale to other parts of the series that I think is going to be really rewarding for a long-time watcher. So even if you think that the season itself wandered around a little bit, I really think the finale is worth watching for anybody that invested any sort of time in this show, because it was a really, really good finale, and it was really touching and cinematic, and I would give it a watch it now.
Hey, thanks, Justina. I'm one of those people that's closer to I'll give it a 7, mainly because I will give them credit for actually resolving the story satisfactorily. They didn't leave any loose ends about how the story resolved. But, I mean, I ding Falling Skies for just not living up to its credentials. This is Steven Spielberg behind the show, and a lot of people who came from other really good shows. And I just thought that there was a lot of missed opportunities. And I think you said this yourself, that They wasted time on storylines that were derivative, that they'd actually done in prior seasons. So for me, it really didn't ever live up to its potential. And I kind of contrast it with The Last Ship, which I'll readily admit I had low expectations because it was Michael Bay, so I was assuming it was going to be all action and not a lot of story and character development. And that show surprises me pretty much every week in season 2 with what's going on with the story and the characters and how they get there. So I think some of it is expectations. I do agree that if you maybe watch Falling Skies in season 1 or season 2 and you want to know how it ends, watch the finale just to get closure. But I have to say this is not a series I would recommend to other people.
Yeah, I really appreciate your input on it, Justina. I had saved the last 3 episodes of Falling Skies on my DVR, as you mentioned, people saving them up. But based on comments that Wendy made and people made on our forum about Falling Skies, and even I got kind of a summary of what happened in the final episode from our forum, I just decided to delete them all. So I haven't watched them all, the last 3. Someday I might, but I think odds are probably that I'm just going to push that into the back of my memory and move on.
Yeah, I gave up. I think maybe it was season 2 or early season 3. It was just getting a bit repetitive story-wise and just never felt the urge to come back based on, the two of you certainly talking about it. And as you said, Brent, many of the folks on the forum too. A lot of folks that we know have similar tastes. So I wish it would have gone more gangbusters for more folks. It might have been a reason to go back to it, but alas, just one I'll have to say wasn't for me.
Yeah, I am glad, though, that the people who really did like the show more than I did found the series finale to be, very much what they wanted.
Yeah, very good. And finally, we did get another voicemail from Justina. She wanted to ask us questions about upcoming shows and maybe shows we're not liking so much. So let's give that a listen.
I started tuning into Sci-Fi TV last May, so this will be my first full fall-winter season with you guys, and I'm super excited. So I have a couple of questions. One, which show that is starting up new this fall are you most excited to be adding to the water cooler section that you will be doing your reviews of every week? And number 2, which show are you just done with? You're definitely going to drop it. You're not going to continue with it this fall. And number 3, of your returning shows that you're definitely keeping, which show are you counting the days down until it returns? You just can't wait to see how the story continues. For me, I think my most anticipated premiere is Once Upon a Time, but I have like 5 or 6 sci-fi shows all tied for the top spot. But if I had to pick one, I think it would be Once Upon a Time. As far as shows I am dropping several shows this year to make room for more sci-fi television, but none of the shows I'm dropping are sci-fi in nature. And my most anticipated new show is Supergirl, because my other answer was Legends of Tomorrow, and I know that doesn't come out until 2016. So for now, I'm going with Supergirl.
Great questions, Justina. Thank you for that. I agree. Supergirl is a pretty cool show. It's probably in the top 5 of shows that I'm anticipating. I'd have to say the show I'm anticipating the most coming is probably Ash vs. the Evil Dead. I love that movie series. I love Bruce Campbell, and I just really want to see what they do with that. Show I'm anticipating coming back, I would have said Continuum, but we've seen the first episode, and I'm past that threshold. So now I'm going to have to look forward, and I'm going to say, from ones that haven't come back yet, probably Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm probably most excited to see where that show takes us amongst the others. Dropping a show, I don't think I can predict one that I watched all last season that I'm now going to drop before I've seen anything, but I have a high anticipation that maybe Sleepy Hollow will end up being dropped, but I think I'm going to at least check it out and see where it goes, but I might have to drop that one.
Yeah, this is a great set of questions, and as you folks who've been listening for a while know, I have a tough time picking just one in any of those categories, but forced to put it to the point, and I'll dovetail a bit on what Brent said. A couple that would have been the ones for returning shows most excited, Continuum and Lost Girl, have kind of already come back, so I'll put those to the side and say for anticipation for one that we've been watching, it's, and you probably know this, Justina, likely Arrow. Although iZombie has been skyrocketing near the top of my list there. as far as brand new shows, Scream Queens, I got a hunch might be a lot of fun. I'll have to wait to see. That might be the brand new show I'm most looking forward to, although Ash as well should be really cool in and of itself. And as far as dropping, much like you, Brent, I've not decided to drop anything I've been watching, but there are a couple that I know are going to start out at the bottom, and if I run out of time, and one of those, not because I don't like it, but just because of more stuff I like better, might be Supernatural this year.
Yeah, this is a great question. Of the new shows coming, Supergirl's very high on my list, Jessica Jones, the X-Files revival, Legend of Tomorrow, even though that's a mid-season, as well as what Kevin and Brent said about the Bruce Campbell show, Ash versus the Evil Dead. For new stuff, for returning stuff, Arrow's very high up there, Agent Carter, and way off is Game of Thrones, but, if it could be March, so Game of Thrones was coming back, I'd be super happy. I may be done with The Walking Dead and The Vampire Diaries after this season. I'm not eagerly anticipating either one of those shows. And I kind of agree with Kevin, the trailer for Supernatural didn't really get me all that excited. So it's not that I'm dropping them, but I do anticipate those might be ones that, unless they really grab me from the gate, they're the ones that are going to kind of sit on the DVR until I get around to them.
All in all, a great set of feedback, Jessina. Thank you very much for that. We're going to move on to the articles and headlines we think you might be interested in here. And Kevin's got some news about some sci-fi shows.
Yeah, the new Sci-Fi Friday shows, Dark Matter and Killjoys, it's been announced have been officially renewed. No word yet for Defiance. I know Brent and many others are still disappointed. Yes. But the press releases came out. Both of them have been renewed to air in 2016. Same number of episodes, meaning Killjoys will get 10 and Dark Matter 13. No specific dates other than 2016. The other interesting bit in the press release, because I hadn't seen it yet, was the average viewership for each show. Killjoys averaged 1.5 million viewers, and Dark Matter was a little higher at 1.8. So I know I'm very excited to have Killjoys back. Dark Matter, kind of interested. I guess we'll see where it might go, but I know it'd be great. I really think it'd be great if we could also get that renewal for Defiance, because I think that's a great set of 3, Sci-Fi Friday shows.
Yeah, I totally agree. I love that lineup. Very excited that Dark Matter and Killjoys are coming back. I kind of like Dark Matter a little bit more. I think because I like some of the actors a little more. But Defiance, I hope they're counting all their pennies and figuring out how to fund that show. Yeah,
they got to bring Defiance back. And if they have to only have 2 shows, come on, just cancel Killjoys. No, I'm just kidding, Kevin.
Well, make me come over there.
They won't have to pay for Lost Girl or Haven or Continuum anymore, so they can find some room.
Well, we hope, definitely.
Add another hour of wrestling, if they have to.
All right, Wendy, you've got some news about a new show being ordered over at AMC.
Yeah, AMC is getting into the comics game even further. Now they have ordered the comic Preacher, and it's going to star an actor who's familiar to anyone who watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Carter. The Tony Stark character, the actor who played Tony Stark, will be playing the lead, Dominic Cooper. And there's also some other interesting folks cast from other genre shows, and with interesting names. So Preacher is centered around a reverend named Jesse Custer, and he has a girlfriend too, so named Tulip. And I'm assuming this is going to have a Wild West aspect as well as a supernatural element to it. I guess, I don't know. But it's coming for 10 episodes in the middle of 2016.
Wow, so Robert Downey Jr. starring in this? You said Tony Stark, so.
Well, it's the character. He played I'm sorry.
Stark.
He played Howard Stark. Thank you. They look so much alike.
Yeah, wow, that's a mesh up, huh?
I could picture Robert Downey Jr. playing this part too, but I think Dominic Cooper will do a great job.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know much other than the character's name, and having known what they're involved in, but it's AMC, so I'm very interested.
Yeah, I'll check it out. But folks, it's with a very sad and heavy heart that I must now announce the end of one of our favorite shows here on Tuning Into Sci-Fi TV.
I am impressed you kept a straight face that long.
Under the Dome is no more. Please, no tears. We must remember the good and not dwell on... I wrote a script, guys. And not dwell on the bad. A moment of silence, please. Okay, anyway, back to the news. The final episode will air on September 10th on CBS, and don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Kudos to those of you who are fans of the show and have stayed with it. Even folks I know that do podcasts about it have been, wondering what the heck's going on with the show. So, as we've said, though, I guess if you're going to go off the rails, man, go miles off and have fun with it like they have done. So, enjoy. Those of you who are fans, enjoy.
I actually have seen a couple episodes of season 2 because, there was probably absolutely nothing else on to watch that time in my hotel. And it is just crazy. It's like a strange soap opera. I mean, the stuff they did with, the Marg Helgenberger character, the actor who was on CSI, Helberg, I think is her name. Crazy. It makes season 1 look like an Emmy nominee show compared to where they went in season 2. But I'm assuming we'll get a message from Scott from Cape Cod, how he's very disappointed that it's not a show to watch anymore to laugh at.
You're stronger than I am, Wendy. If I had nothing to do in a hotel room and that was on the air, I'd just turn off the TV and look at the ceiling.
Well, no, it was one of those, what's going on? It's sort of like, what are you looking at? And you have to sort of focus in for a few minutes to figure out that you're looking at something really crazy.
All right. Well, speaking of things that are kind of crazy, but in a fun way, Kevin's got some news about the Librarians.
Yes, we have a link in the show notes, folks, to the first trailer for season 2. And in it, they also announced the premiere date, which we had heard a couple months back was going to be fall, which was great. So November the 1st, it'll be a Sunday airing again. So you've got about a 30-second promo. Get some definite clips from season 2. We get a little bit of info on a couple of storylines you might see that you can deduct from seeing a couple of things. And like I said, so we've got as I said, November 1st. So it's a lot closer than I thought it might be. I'm very excited.
Yeah, this was awesome. Very much looking forward to this show coming back. And I was surprised, too, the date. I was thinking it was going to be more like a midwinter show. So looking forward to seeing it sooner than I thought.
And here I am thinking November is winter, but I guess it's early winter. The Librarians, yeah, it's a fun show. This trailer just showed how much fun it was. I remember watching this trailer, Kevin. It's a good thing you said there's a lot of season 2 bits in here because I was thinking, did we do that in season 1? Was that in season 1 or is that new? So much crazy stuff and it's so fast, fast cuts and things that wasn't sure what was going on. But I'm looking forward to it. This is one of those shows. It's on the top of my list of things. Not the very tippy top. I told you Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was, but it's up there. Yeah,
I'm kind of, the timing I think is going to be good too because that means it'll be running through December when a lot of our shows take their break. So again, like last year, we'll have new episodes of this still while some other shows are on their break. So I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, and hopefully they're not going to double up on them.
Yeah. All right. Well, moving on to another show that we all enjoyed and are looking forward to coming back. It's Arrow, and Wendy's got a bunch of news about that.
Yeah, there's a couple of links to a couple different trailers. The first one's been out for probably a week or so. Stephen Amell actually premiered it at DragonCon when he came to his first panel. And then there's another one that's called So Cool that I'm guessing is a lot more taken from the very first or second episode. But just a lot of interesting stuff coming this season. And someone actually took that season 4 trailer and did sort of a frame-by-frame screen grab of it. Which was cool because I didn't even realize we saw Diggle's suit in the trailer, but we do. They have a picture of it. And a lot of other interesting things that you might have missed if you weren't watching it on Super Slow-Mo.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that we saw Constantine in that trailer. That was interesting. But yeah, really cool trailer. I mean, I like where it appears they're starting out this season. I like what they seem to be doing to get the gang back together sort of stuff. So it looks really exciting.
Oh, yeah. This was really cool. As Wendy mentioned, DragonCon's not known for premiering things, unlike a Comic-Con, where the studios bring stuff such as trailers and tidbits. So the fact that Stephen Amell got to play that trailer at Con, that was the buzz for all the Arrow fans afterwards was which part you liked, and did I see that? And like you said, Brent, that was Constantine in there, wasn't it? It was like, yeah. So there's just tons of cool stuff here in both these trailers. Little teeny overlap. It's like you said, they're different enough that it's not just a rehash. So very excited, very, very excited.
Yeah, I was in the panel where he showed this, and he showed it at the very beginning, and people were screaming and yelling and clapping so loud that they actually played it again at the end, so you could hear all the dialogue that you couldn't hear, and it was dead silent, so everyone could just enjoy every second of it. It was really cool.
Oh, that's cool of them, yeah. I mean, I imagine that there'd be a need to do that in almost every convention where they premiere a trailer, because everybody's going to be hooping and hollering. Cool. The companion show to Arrow is, of course, The Flash. It's the little less serious version of the DC Universe, but still pretty fun and exciting. And they've released another trailer called Other Worlds with some pretty cool little tidbits. Not majorly spoilery, but we get introduced to several new characters and kind of a hint about what happened at the end of the first season that is going to set up some engagements, let's say, in the second season. And while the first season was about a particular speedster, the second season seems to be about other characters, and it looks pretty fun. I'm looking forward to this one too.
Yeah, this one was really sharp. I say sharp in the sense that it did a good job. Flash is a show that's a little further down my excitement meter. I enjoy it, but don't tend to get as engaged as like Arrow and some others. But this one, from a trailer point of view, is like, okay. So that's where it totally did its job on me.
Yeah, I think I like Flash more than you, Kevin. This I thought was great. I'm very much looking forward to where they're going to take things in season 2, and this was a pretty good introduction. I'd kind of forgotten some of the sort of teasery information I read, so it was nice to sort of see it to remind me.
All right, and moving on, Kevin, you've got some news about Marvel's next Netflix project.
Yeah, yes, absolutely, and that will be the Jessica Jones series. They've put out a teaser, and it's one of those mood teasers with music and some images, not necessarily stuff from the show, but it's very brief, 30 seconds or less. And the main point of this is just to confirm the premiere date, which is November the 20th. And like other Netflix shows, or most other Netflix originals, all the episodes will drop on November the 20th. Now, this is a property I have no background with, so I'm definitely very interested in seeing what we get here. I will probably have to go with the once a week approach, at least for the first few, till maybe we hit December and some of our shows go on their hiatus. But nice to see them starting to ramp up the promotion for this one.
Yeah, I'm definitely anticipating this one because Daredevil was so good. And timing-wise, it could be one of those ones where maybe I don't watch the whole thing one time in one shot, but maybe over a couple of weekends, which is sort of how I watched Daredevil.
Yeah, I'm expecting to do the same thing. I mean, Longmire, the non-genre show, just dropped its next season on Netflix as well, and I've already watched a couple episodes, but that one's going to be dragged out over a couple weeks as well. Yeah, I'm not terribly familiar with Jessica Jones as a character. I've done a little bit of research, or the AKA Jessica Jones comic title that she was a star of, but this was after my time, I think, of really reading comics, and I never really went off in that direction. But from what I understand, she's actually got superpowers, which is pretty cool, because so far we've had Daredevil, who doesn't really. I mean, he does in a way with his vision sort of thing, but it's more just kicking people and fighting really well. But this is an actual superhero, and we're gonna see one finally on Netflix that will eventually lead to her joining up with Daredevil and others, and making a kind of a team show on Netflix, as we've mentioned before, guys. So I'm really jazzed to see what this show can bring, and I'm coming into it pretty much as a newbie too. I just have read a little bit about the character, but I have no history with it. And
that's what I think is going to be a lot of fun. For that reason, I mean, it's one thing with Daredevil or some of these other characters where many people have a lot of background and love or whatever. For this one, certainly, I think with the three of us too, it's going to be a lot of brand new. That's what we can see we get. Well,
to me, since I didn't read Daredevil and I tried to block out that movie, it's all new to me, but it still feels very much like the Marvel Universe. So I'm definitely only expecting good things out of this.
Very cool. All right. Well, moving on. We did talk about Supernatural earlier. Some not so good news some people were talking about, but Wendy's got some information about the next season.
Yeah, there's the official CW trailer for season 11. which focuses on the darkness. And even in the trailer, one of the characters makes fun of the big bad name. And I gotta say, I'm glad they did, because it's, whelming. But there was some other parts that look like the standard Supernatural stuff, action, humor. I've read some other teasers about some stuff they might do with the car this season. So the trailer did its job of reminding me that Supernatural's coming back. But as I mentioned when we were talking about Justina's feedback, it's not measuring high on my list for anticipation yet.
Yeah, I was whelmed as well, and have been whelmed for a number of seasons on Supernatural. So, we talked earlier. I think Justina asked the question and about shows that you're not coming back to, and one of them I said I might tune out on is Sleepy Hollow, and I think Kevin said he was going to drop Supernatural, but this is another one where I might. I mean, if this show just continues to just drag, I might stop watching this one, but. There's so many supporting characters on the show that are fun. I mean, Castiel is fun, and there's just a lot of really fun characters that I almost kind of miss, and I'll probably end up watching them just to see that stuff, but I really don't care about the main characters or where the story's going. So, yeah, that's a good and a bad thing, I guess.
Yeah, it's a question now of having so many good shows to be able to watch. I still enjoy Supernatural. You're right, it's not going to hit the epic points or notes that it might have done, 6 years ago. That's still a lot of fun. Castiel and Crowley. We don't have a couple others I really liked anymore, but the trailer itself was very okay. Meaning okay. It wasn't anything that was really good or really bad. So if you're a big fan, obviously you're excited and you get to see some stuff from the show. So it's still on my to be recorded schedule. I still hope to see it, but I got to tell you, on those weeks when I get have a lot of extra work or have some family commitments, it's probably going to be the one that tends to get bumped.
Yeah, I kind of have that view too. It's definitely lower priority in the watch list. But while I was at Dragon Con, actually, some old friends of mine told me they just started watching Supernatural. They're in season 2. And some other folks at the table had been watching Supernatural, and we all said, stop at season 5, and then I'll send you a list of the episodes afterwards that are worth watching. And I still recommend that to people.
Oh, I'm so glad you told them to stop after season 5.
I mean, there are some outstanding sort of standalone episodes. Sure. A lot of the Felicia Day ones are definitely worth getting to, but yeah. Season 11, I can't say I'm that keen for, compared to like season 4 or season 5.
Yeah. All right. Well, I have a link to another trailer. I think we told you before. We shared a behind the scenes or a first look at Looking Glass, and we talked about it. This is an actual trailer for the new series Looking Glass. Remember, this is the one that they originally said was inspired by Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and we all kind of scratched our heads, and then we saw the first look, and we realized, okay, you see what they're doing. It's not really Frankenstein, but this trailer goes into a lot more depth than the first look did. It gives you more of a background of the character that they bring back to life and sort of why he leaves and what sorts of things are going on in his life as well. And we learn a little bit more about the sister who is apparently going to be dying, and it isn't quite what we thought. They didn't prepare him apparently to be a test subject for a new body for her. It was something else entirely, but you have to watch the trailer to find out.
Yeah, and it's a pretty extensive one. It's like 2.5 minutes long. So I took a look at it, and I'm not feeling the vibe as being a show for me. So it's probably one that I'm going to sit back and record and then wait to hear what the two of you think and some of our other listeners and folks, just to see if it might be a surprise that it's a fit for me. But, I mean, it does look good, but again, just doesn't look like it's going to grab me.
Yeah, I'm going to record it and watch it, but I definitely am not anticipating this show. I'm not as negative towards it as I was before. Before we had any trailers, I was really like, what? I don't really get this. So they've done a good job of at least keeping me now sort of neutral to semi-positive about it.
Yeah, that's about right. That's what I plan to do too. All right, Kevin, you've got a first look at the show I am most anticipating returning next season, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes, and it's very, very high on my list there, too, battling for the top spots. We've got a 30-second trailer available from Marvel, and it's pretty cool, folks. It is definitely fast-moving. We got Daisy coming front and center right off the bat, which I kind of love. So you'll see most of the key characters in here. Very fast cut kind of stuff. Very exciting to see where we're going to pick up after we got left off at the end of season 2. So this one is very, very high on the anticipation meter.
Yeah, I hope the show goes as fast as the trailer because, they're promising a lot in terms of setting some expectations in the trailers that I hope they keep up with. But I'm thinking that they will because I think season 2 was really solid.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think S.H.I.E.L.D. has been one of those that have disappointed us and slowed down. They've been pretty good on pacing. But yeah, I love this too. And Kevin, you're right. As soon as we saw who we knew as Skye, I was surprised and pleased that she didn't say, "Hi, I'm Agent Skye from S.H.I.E.L.D." She said, "Hi, I'm Daisy from S.H.I.E.L.D."
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
so she's embraced who she really is and her mother and her father and so forth. So I thought that was pretty cool. But it looks like it's just full of great action. Looking forward to it. All right, and another series that some of us may or may not be looking forward to. I don't think any of us are really looking forward to it. Wendy's got some information about the Vampire Diaries.
Well, I don't think Kevin's watching the Vampire Diaries anymore. This trailer will hook you if you're a Damon, Steph, and Caroline fan, probably. I'm not interested in the big bad story. It's really obvious what it was going to be from the end of last season. But there was some funny quips and lines, and that's kind of what I watch this show for anymore, is mostly the Damon part. So that looked really good in the trailer.
Yeah, and we have a constant theme here, and I'm going to echo it again on this one, that this is a show that I'm still going to watch, but I have a feeling that if it doesn't really catch me in the first few episodes, I might actually just start recording it or drop it entirely. So Vampire Diaries started out so strong. It's a lot like Supernatural. First, in case of Vampire Diaries, first few seasons, pretty darn strong, very powerful stuff, and then just kind of wandered, and it's still wandering.
Yeah, you were correct. It's a show I did give up on about a season ago. And I did watch this trailer, though. I'm like, it's a show I gave up on, but now's the time. Let's just watch the trailer. Maybe a little magic will come back. Because, as you said, there was a good amount of Caroline, who was always one of my favorite characters. But yeah, in just a very long list of shows, this one, and wander's the right word, it just was nowhere near as crisp from a story point of view. So I do miss it, though. Those first few seasons were just really good.
Yeah, this is another one. It already had dropped to being low priority to watch for me, and I think that's probably going to continue.
And to talk about a show that's going to be premiering soon after this episode of this podcast goes out on our feed, Doctor Who. We've got yet another trailer for the Doctor Who new season, and this one seems to be, I think it's a little more focused on the first episode or two, perhaps, of the season. It might be a full season-long trailer. Can't really tell, can we? But it's really cool. It's got some glimpses of some of the enemies and some of the Doctor's friends and even a frenemy. Now, the BBC also released, and we might try to throw a link in here, a prologue to Season 9, which is an actual little clip, an actual little scene that I don't know if they're going to actually have at the beginning of the first episode or if it's going to just be something that exists on the web only and you have to watch it. But it's very mysterious prologue. It doesn't really explain anything. It kind of makes you go, huh? And I guess that's the intent, to get you to watch the show.
Yeah, I've been getting, it's funny, I've been getting even more and more excited for this show's return, especially where it's coming back as one of the first ones back. You know, Doctor Who is a show I very much like, but has not always been very high on my list of shows. But they've done a really good job, in another case here, of kind of reeling me in pretty good with some of the trailers for this season. More so than they have in the past. I got to give them credit there. So, yeah, it's going to be nice to have have that back on the Saturday night schedule.
Yeah, this looks really good. To me, it looks like we're going to have a lot of drama, action drama scope, hopefully, to the storytelling. And I got to say, I do like the Doctor wearing sunglasses a lot.
Sunglasses are cool.
They are. And bow ties.
And fezzes.
And fezzes, yeah. All right, Kevin, you've got a bunch of casting news for us.
Yeah, I've got our casting links for this show. We've got 3 of them, folks. Going to talk a little bit about Game of Thrones, Once Upon a Time, and a new show, Brain Dead, in case you're the type who wants to skip ahead a couple of minutes. The casting for Once Upon a Time, going going out of my order here. Actually, Game of Thrones first, as I mentioned. Coming in is actor Freddie Storoma coming in to play a character related to Sam. So if you want some details there, I always like to kind of leave these things kind of on the high level. Wendy will fill in a little more there, but he's coming up in the next season. Also, once upon a time, we have a character coming back that even though I've stopped watching the show, I remember and greatly enjoyed. And that's Megan Ori coming back to play Ruby. So that should be some fun stuff. Looking forward to hearing a bit about that when she's back, from those of you who are still watching. And the final casting item, a pretty big name, certainly from the movie world, and a show that has definitely slipped by us here on the podcast. I don't think we've even talked about it yet. It's a show coming to CBS called Brain Dead. And the casting coming in here is Mary Elizabeth Winstead, very well known to movie fans. I know I loved her in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and she's been in many other things. But let me give you the couple-sentence recap on this TV show. That says that Brain Dead follows a young, fresh-faced Capitol Hill staffer getting her first job in Washington, D.C., and she discovers two things. Number one, the government has stopped working, and number two, an alien swarm has come to Earth and eaten the brains of a growing number of congressmen. So, between that casting and that description, all of a sudden I'm like, I need to know more about this show.
And it's a serious show, or is it sort of going Buffy the Vampire Slayer in terms of...
All that's in here is that it says that she is set to headline this, quote, comedic thriller sci-fi drama.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'm assuming most people don't know. It's not like The Walking Dead where we have a broad
I'm
apocalypse.
Gonna have to wait to see, I guess.
More like iZombie.
Maybe, yeah.
I'm guessing, yeah. The actor looks a lot like the actor who plays Daisy on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. a little bit.
Yeah, they're both pretty.
Yeah, no, I don't remember us ever hearing about this show. This is definitely under the radar kind of stuff. But I like this. If this is a bold move by CBS to go a little comedic with their genre, that's kind of cool. I just took one look at the picture of the guy they cast for Game of Thrones, and I immediately knew who he was. So that's going to be some really interesting stuff for Sam to be dealing with. And I'm thrilled that the Ruby character will be coming back into Once Upon a Time, because I really like that character. I like the way the actor played that part. And I think she really brought a lot to the show when she was in it.
Yeah, she did, and I really dig Megan Ori, and I liked her on Intelligence as well, and I kind of liked that show, and I was sad to see that one be canceled, but the fact that she got to headline there and get a little more, on her resume and then come back and still be welcomed back into Once Upon a Time is pretty cool. All right, Wendy's got some hints for another show with a very attractive lead, Agent Carter.
Yeah, for Agent Carter Season 2, we discussed a lot of sort of where do they go next, and this is going to fill in a little bit more of that. I won't go into any details. They do share a photo, though, that tells us what's happened to one of the main characters that I'm definitely looking forward to seeing come back. And I'll just say it was tweeted by Enver Jokic, and that's all I'll say on that. But just really excited to see Agent Carter come back.
Yeah, you and I both found his character to be very enjoyable, so I'm very glad to see that picture and learn a little bit. It doesn't tell us everything, but it does put a smile on your face, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, I'm looking forward to Agent Carter too. It's on that list. It's probably in the top 5. I'm anticipating returning, so cool.
Along with it being a really fun show and well done, it's nice that it bridges the gap of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Holiday break. So it's nice that it's right in there again at a time when we don't have a lot of shows. So that certainly makes it even more fun because it's one of the good ones. And we get it at a time when there's a lot of other things to even have to compete with it on the DVR in terms of which one I go to.
And finally, for news links, I've got a link here to a video interview with a lot of the cast and crew of Legends of Tomorrow, the new CW show in the DC universe. It's by the official DC YouTube channel. And they talk a bit about their roles and characters they're going to play. And one of the characters is asked, he's a villain. He's asked, are you going to try to be the leader of this group? And he's like, well, there might be some tension. So we got that to look forward to.
Yeah, it's really fun. I mean, this is over 4 minutes long. We still got quite a while since we're not getting this show until 2016. So they're starting to do that little piecemeal bit of keeping us remembering that it's coming. So like you said, you get to hear some info from showrunners and some of the cast, and Captain Cole talking a little bit about what his role might be in the show. So it's good stuff. Even more to gobble up to get psyched for this one.
Yeah, this was interesting. My assumption was these are going to be people who are brought together for a reason, and it's not because they like each other or are very aligned in their goals and approaches to things. So I got a little bit of confirmation of that. Also seeing some of the recent pictures of Hawkgirl and Hawkman and stuff. This one, I'm actually probably going to be disappointed that it isn't coming as quickly as I think it is. As you pointed out, it is sort of the mid-season show.
Yeah, I'm anticipating this one too. And Hawkgirl is a favorite character of mine. So every time we do get to see, hear about that character and see the actor who's playing her, that's really exciting. All right, to round out the water cooler, we have a Tuner Minute. As usual, this one I recorded, and it's entitled Careful What You Wish For. When I heard that both Lost Girl and Continuum were going to be renewed for their final seasons, I was, of course, both sad and overjoyed at the same time. Sad because they'd be ending, obviously, but overjoyed that we would get a conclusion to the stories since the showrunners and writers knew in advance that there would be no more. So it was with high expectations that I tuned into the premieres of both final seasons this last week. I was giddy with excitement about what the showrunners could do in a limited number of episodes to wrap up their story. Surely they would shoot right out of the gate with pacing to knock your socks off and meaty story and character elements that would leave you breathless. Well, not quite. While both shows delivered good first episodes for their final seasons, both also left me wondering why they didn't take as much advantage of the limited run as I had hoped they would. In one case, it almost looked like an idea for an entire episode of Continuum had been compressed into a single scene. Almost as if the showrunner had the final season planned out for many more episodes, and when he got a smaller order, instead of restructuring the story, he just compressed things that would have been better suited either in a longer format or just dropped entirely. It's obviously too early to know how these final seasons of Lost Girl and Continuum will play out. But with the recent lackluster final season of Falling Skies, where the writers also knew it was ending, I'm a little worried. But I'm also curious to hear from you. What pre-planned final seasons of shows have met, surpassed, or fallen short of your expectations?
Holy moly. Now my brain goes into overdrive trying to think of all these shows who might have gone there. Yeah, it's interesting how the expectations, which we've certainly talked about many times in 200 Minutes, build into that. It's that total excitement of having just a few left, and your brain keeps telling you, okay, everybody knows it's the end, so this is going to be nothing but awesome sauce. And not quite as much in that area. So, but like you said, it's important that we don't overthink it. Lost Girl in this case still has 7 more eps, Continuum has 5, so it might have just been some, as they say, table setting and setup. As far as other shows, though, when they come towards the end, certainly the show Lost has to come to mind. That was very polarizing for a lot of folks. I was totally okay and dug it, what they did in the last season and certainly the last episode. So that one I was totally fine with. There haven't been many others that have really disappointed me. Certainly not ones where we had planned finales and planned final seasons. It's the ones that tend to peter off that really annoy you or get canceled. So I might have to think a little longer on which ones for final seasons, did a good job. But again, the one that still holds quite a bit is Lost. So that's still I'm very much on the positive side of that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall Lost, for me, it was fine, the conclusion of Lost. The other one, I think BSG, they knew their last 2 seasons, and that one I kind of ding a show a little bit more because of sometimes some of the episodes they focused on things that, in hindsight, I'm like, why did we spend time there? And I know some people didn't like the final series finale. I was fine with it. The show that immediately came to mind when you said it met it is Breaking Bad, which is not a genre show, but they did a really good job of laying down that storyline in terms of how they paced it out and the arcs for the characters. Defiance, honestly, if it ends up that we don't get any more, the writers did a great job hedging their bet and bringing this chapter of the story to a satisfactory conclusion. The other one I ding is Warehouse 13, and I just recall at the time that we were questioning, why are you spending time on this episode when you only have so many left? So kind of the bad ones came to mind more so than the good ones, but that's probably true for a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of the bad ones do come to mind. I mean, I wasn't a fan of Lost. I understand that's one that a lot of people talk about. BSG, I'm always on the polar opposite of a lot of people. I loved the ending of BSG and the final season of BSG. I thought it was really well done. There was a lot of stuff in there I got really excited about. So I was fine with that. I don't want to bring up Farscape because that's not actually a true, they knew ahead of time. They kind of knew just before the final couple of episodes, but they had no idea to plan the whole season out. So that's not a good one to do. But definitely the Almighty Johnsons. You guys haven't seen the finale yet. And that one, I believe they did know it was the final season when they were doing it. At least they knew it early on. And I think they did an okay job with the ending, but they were very rough in the middle. And so I think that one was kind of okay, not great. You talked about Warehouse 13. Yeah, we didn't like that. I'm nervous myself, not only for these two shows, but also for Haven, which is coming back for its final episodes, which, surprise, in case you didn't know, was its final season. But I don't know why SciFi announced that 2 years in a row. But that one I'm a little worried about, too, because I really enjoyed that show and like the characters in there. And I'm just, the way a lot of shows haven't ended very well, or at least they haven't given us a really meaty final season, but they may have ended the series well in the final episode, has got me really concerned. So I can't think of too many good ones either, Wendy. It's really strange. I mean, like I said, I can think of shows that had their final episode or episodes really well done, but had a lackluster season. But I can't think of any that did just a whiz bang final season when they knew that it was coming to an end. And I can't also bring up Enterprise because that wasn't fair because they didn't know about that until the last couple of episodes. But I can ding them for writing the stupidest finale to that series.
It's interesting that for the most part, and I'd be curious very much to hear from the listeners, but certainly from the three of us, it tends to be the ones that leave the sour taste that stick in your head, the Warehouse 13s and some of that stuff. Because, we want to have these shows that we've loved go out on a good note, and it doesn't need to be a great note. It doesn't need to be complete gangbusters. But the biggest thing that I say, and I've heard other folks say, is just please don't disappoint me, okay? Even if you make a few choices that are bold or whatever, I'll be okay as long as you don't disappoint it to the fact where you throw your hands up and go, really? That's what you decided to end with? And your point about Haven is a good one, Brent, because as I was running through in my head, we've already got the Continuum and Lost Girl. We're getting close. Haven's a full 13 episodes, but that's a show that we've been a little up and down on, but mostly up. But we don't want to, I hate to see it fizzle out.
Yeah, Haven, I was a little more down than you guys. I'm definitely worried about how well they're going to do with that one. But as you were talking, Kevin, I think we should mention Fringe. I think Fringe overall had a pretty good conclusion to this story as well.
Darn you, Wendy. You stole my comment. I was looking at my DVD wall up here, and I'm like, oh, Fringe did pretty well, and they knew about that as being its final season. And also, here's another one you didn't think of, so I'm going to get you. I like Chuck. Chuck, they knew for most
Chuck
of the final season.
Yep.
They did it, and I think they did a pretty good job. Now, I know if Lou is listening, that Lou hates that season, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was really well done.
Yeah. No, Fringe is definitely, thank you again. I'm not good with remembering, and I do remember very fondly how that chose to go out. Chuck, I liked the end, but didn't love. So, but that was still a mostly good one. It's funny, Chuck is one of those shows that every now and then when I see it mentioned, or if I see Zachary Levi in something like the upcoming Heroes Reborn, I do think so fondly, certainly of the first couple of seasons of that, and go, God, I miss having that much fun with that cast. They were so much fun together.
And if you aren't watching Geeks Who Drink,
Geeks Who Drink,
he was reunited with his co-star, who played Sarah for one episode there, so that was pretty fun too. All right, well, that's going to wrap us up for the non-spoilery, hopefully, water cooler. Now we're heading into the very spoiler-filled back porch. Today we talk about Lost Girl and The Last Ship. All right, first up on the back porch, we're going to have Kevin talk about Lost Girl.
Alrighty, and we're talking about episode 509, 44 Minutes to Save the World, folks. Not airing in the U.S. yet. This is Canadian schedule stuff. as Brent kind of alluded to in his Tuner Minute, I greatly enjoyed the episode, but again, being the first of the final 8, I was hoping to have my socks knocked off, and we're not quite there yet. But I do like what they chose to do here, and I'm thinking that, this is going to be a good springboard to the next episode. We've been going with the ancients, Zeus, Hera, putting real danger out there for our heroes. And now that Bo's dad, none other than Hades, has come into this world, it's going to make some big impacts. Now, I got to say here, we have Eric Roberts playing Hades, Bo's dad. And as many of you know, my goodness, he's been in everything, and I mean everything, as far as movies and such, and sometimes up and down. But I think he's very good in this role. Certainly in this episode, he was very good. So I'm thinking that could lead to some good stuff going forward. She finally, at the beginning of the episode, has released him from his, if you will, magic box, music box, as some people refer to it, this mystical case that's been holding him. He's able to help out, save Mark, as we saw in episode 8. Severely stabbed, but he helps Lauren to be able to save him, which is a good thing to see. We've had Iris, a.k.a. the Nyx, released and loose, and anything she touches is turning to black, and that's supposedly she's going to end the world with her power if they can't do something. So that's really the big crux of what Bo and our heroes are trying to do here. So that's what leads into the estranged communication between Bo and her dad. He appears to be helping and doing some good things here for the most part, but we're going to have to wait to see what his real end game is, or he keeps claiming he's only there to be there for Bo. So that could be good to see. But so I enjoyed seeing him kind of do that. We get, as for me, the enjoyment in Lost Girl is not the plots, it's the character interactions. Certainly been disappointing not to have Kenzie, and she's still not in this episode. But we do get a couple mentions of her when Bo's dad tries to mention her. Bo, in no uncertain terms, tells him directly, you do not get to say her name, which was kind of cool. I like that. So we'll have to get to wait to see if hopefully she's going to be back fairly soon. But as has happened throughout the whole series of Lost Girl, Bo is able to work with Dyson and her dad a bit to finally find Iris, a.k.a. the Nyx, and have no choice. Bo doesn't want to because dad lets her know that to actually contain the Nyx, you'll end up killing the human vessel, Iris. Bo really doesn't want to. That's always been her thing, trying to take care of folks. But there is no choice since they're on the verge of the world ending. So they're able to work together and get her contained, and we lose her there. So that was kind of the big storyline. That was the one that was playing forward. The fact that that's been now dealt with, I think, is really good. Naturally, Zeus took out some of her frustrations on Hera, who looked like he might be dead, but actually is not, is in like a coma. So they kind of kept him around. That could be interesting. But Zeus is obviously not happy about the fact that Nyx didn't get to wipe out the world, because she just wants to start again where all of the gods truly are gods and the humans, totally cower in front of them. But that didn't happen. So that's where I hope that's good and going to be important going forward, that we can move on to some other stories now, since we only have the 7 episodes left. The other big item that's happening more in the B story here is that Lauren has been working for quite a while on some stem cell research, not sure quite what, but since Bo's dad is a doctor, or appeared to be since he helped save Mark, he helps her a little bit and kind of does some explanation of plot to let us know that Lauren's been trying to work basically on the fountain of youth idea. Because again, the whole idea that, she and Bo want to be together, but she's human. So he offers some advice which appears to really help her in her research, and that does lead to the very end of the episode, when Bo and Lauren are just going for a walk, and she's super excited to tell Bo something, and then she wanders into the street and gets hit by a car, and obviously looks very severely injured. But at the very end, the last 15, 20 seconds of the episode, we see her have some blue eyes and appears to have some chi suckage going on with Bo. So end of episode kind of have us wondering what that might mean. So again, not a great return for the final 8, but a good one, and I'm hoping it might be closing a storyline that's been not that important to me, and giving us an opportunity to see where we go.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what Eric Roberts brings to this. I haven't seen the episode yet. He's a mixed bag as a performer, so I'm glad to hear that you like how he's sort of gelling on this show.
Yeah, I think he did really well. Normally he's in a lot of stuff, and you can tell he's like, hey, look at me, I'm Eric Roberts, He doesn't really get into the character or into the show. I think he did a pretty good job on this one, although his character is kind of aloof anyway, so it kind of fits in the role. I did like the scene where, not only does Bo have to kill the girl who's possessed by the darkness, but obviously she has to use the box, which means that her father is going to stay out and free, which is what she didn't want to do. So they had an alternative. They were going to use some sort of amulet or something, and it didn't work at all. But I did like the scene where Eric Roberts' character, Hades, I believe he is, the girl obsessed with the darkness. Everybody seems afraid. And he even seems almost afraid at first, and then he makes a comment about how she's full of darkness. And he says, "But I am darkness," and he grabs her by the throat and holds her, and he's not hurt at all. And I thought that was pretty cool. But Bo, got touched, and she was about to turn all dark and die and everything, and she had to use the box. So, oh well. It was sad, but she had to do it. The ending with Lauren, and we got a little bit too. Let's don't forget, we got a little bit too with Bo's grandfather and the Blood King and what he's got to do, and that seemed interesting. Although there's not a lot revealed here, but the ending with Lauren, I don't know, man. That seems so hokey to me. As soon as she walked out into the street, I'm like, okay, she's going to get hit by a car. They've set that up pretty clearly. Old Bo is expressing concern about her being out in the middle of the street. Okay. And then all of a sudden you get this truck hitting her at full speed as if the truck didn't even see her. And she's standing out in the middle of the road, and it's heading straight for her, and she can clearly see it coming, but she just stands there and lets herself be hit. And I'm like, it seemed really weird to me when I saw it. I guess if it's her way of demonstrating her immortality to Bo, I guess that would work. But then again, I have to ask the question of why didn't the truck driver slam on his brakes ahead of time, because he just came full bore right into her. So it just seemed really weird to me. I didn't like that particular step. They could have come up with a better way of demonstrating that, I think.
And I agree completely. I couldn't help but think about the trying not to be spoiler, but in Continuum, when we had a key character get hit by a vehicle, that was real. He just stepped off a curb, whack it. You know what I'm saying? The same thing here, like you said, Brent. As soon as she walked into the street, it was like, okay, something bad is going to happen. So it was telegraphed a bit too much. And I keep going back myself on some of these things, certainly with Lost Girl, where it's not so much about the plot as what's going to happen with the characters. But yeah, I'm sure many people, when you see that, are going to have the exact same points you are, which is, why was she in the street? She would have seen the truck would have seen her. Okay, this doesn't totally jive well. Maybe we'll find something out a little more in the next episode, but we'll have to wait to see.
All right. Well, we also wanted to talk about the finale, the last couple of episodes of The Last Ship, and Wendy's going to kick that off for us.
Yeah, so season 2, really, I really liked how they wrapped things up in season 2. The penultimate episode starts with Chandler looking in the mirror, looking at, this shrapnel wound he's got, and deciding that they're going to take the fight to the sub. And this whole episode was, hunting the sub. And I think they did a great job with integrating this IT girl into a part of the solutioning. That worked for me. I really liked that Ramsey wasn't stupid. So, he had a backup plan, that they had these huge, I don't know what they were, missiles, on land, and, that whole part of the fight, like, I just really liked everything about what they were doing with that, because it was really sort of the team working together. And even you could see how the sub team is really falling apart, in terms of their chain of command and communication. And then the stuff on land was really interesting, to see the folks who had to leave because obviously they were in danger, staying with them going after the sub. That, Dr. Scott, very much driven by her character, Dr. Scott sees a sick girl and approaches her even though they're supposed to not talk to anybody, and there's this very tense meeting with them until she cures the kid. But that's actually how they learn about the plan B. And then Slattery goes off with Tex, and I think his name's Green. And I really like that they were integral to the fight also, because there was a scene earlier when Chandler is sending everyone off the ship where he's talking to the XO, and he says, I finally get to go on a land mission and all the action's going to be on the ship. And I really wanted to see you, destroy the sub. But it turns out he was integral to doing all that stuff. So that's one of the things that I think really works on this show is when you have sort of the action on the ship and the action on land that converge or support each other. So I thought that was really well done in that episode. And at the end, the sub is dead, the threat is dead. So as a single episode, really satisfying for the overall story, really satisfying. And then the finale goes into the other problem that this guy, Ramsey, has created, which is this whole PR perception that the country has that, this ship just blew up New Orleans and is trying to pass out a fake cure and actually kill people. So that was the problem. They went on their PR campaign from Vicksburg to Memphis and then finally ending up in St. Louis. And I was a little bit disappointed that they had the Master Chief be the one who talks on an open frequency to his in-laws, and he didn't explain well enough the idea that, we're concerned that there might be fighting, there might be, hostility at the first place, and that was why he was telling them not to go. So they have this really low turnout, which is bad, but some great, again, doubting and tension about whether or not their plan's going to work, which has been very consistent in this show. They never have a plan that they really know is going to work, and there's a lot of variables. The other things I really liked in the finale was that we actually got sort of, I'll say, critical mass of the cure spread, and they did it actually kind of in every way. So the whole idea that Rachel was trying to turn it into something they could crop dust, she'd sort of set that aside to go for the contagious cure, but we actually had both happening when they got to St. Louis. The other thing I really liked was there's some great character moments in the finale. I mentioned the Master Chief and his in-laws, and when they actually found each other in St. Louis, I totally missed it up. That was a really emotional reunion with them. I still don't care about, is it Green and his girlfriend, who's now his fiancée, who's pregnant. I don't care about that storyline. So I'm going to be very curious when we pick up in the future, especially given that at the very end, Rachel gets shot by one of the lingering immunes in a very, I'll call it Lincoln-esque style nod to her getting shot, which the first time I watched it, I was like, oh my God, they're going to kill her. But then I went on the internet and people said, no, think about it. She's probably not dead, unless the actor wants to be out of the story. But from a character importance of the story, she shouldn't be gone. I hope she's not. I also really liked that they spent time toasting all the fallen crewmen and women. That was really cool. I didn't really care about the singing, I gotta admit. And I was really interested in that last scene between her and Chandler because we had speculated the president might pardon her. He did. And I'm still really curious about, when we're going to have Chandler actually say what he, really thinks because he's always acting through this filter of his duty. And we had just a little glimpse of that because, he's the one who commented on her appearance and then he told her to come and find him whenever she comes back. So I'm really curious how the story is going to be structured next season because the ship is in dry dock for repairs. I'm wondering how long they're going to be there. Hopefully like 1 or 2, maybe they'll do the same thing they did in season 2 where they had that double episode that sort of closed off everything that happened in the prior season and then launched the new story. And I'm going to be very curious at this point, what the mission is that requires Dr. Scott to still be on the ship with them all the time, or how they're going to balance, having it be the ship. I mean, he's the head of now Naval Command, so I don't know what that means either. So, but for me, it was really satisfying ending to season 2.
Well, one thing it means he's going to be promoted to Admiral, but the first episode, the next to last episode, I have to admit, when that one was over, I was like, that is the greatest season finale I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like, wait a minute, we got another episode? what can happen next? Because, I've got a lot of family in the military. I've been a real fan of military history. I just love all things military. And to see that kind of combat going down, the naval combat, the maneuvering, the torpedo shots, the final scenes on the sub and so forth, it's just I mean, I just had goosebumps. I was just smile from ear to ear. I was just loving all of that. And on shore as well with Adam Baldwin's character, being able to, and as they were taking control of that battery and getting shot, I was thinking we might lose some of them because this show does kill off characters that we like. And so I was very concerned, especially with Adam Baldwin's character, who was also shot. But he managed to take control of the battery, and I love how he's, giving his lines and saying his final goodbyes to the sub as he's firing missiles at it. And the ship opens up with its last remaining rounds from its 5-inch guns and just blow the heck out of that sub as well, which is great stuff. And it's pretty clear at the end with the final scene of the bad guy next to his dead brother, who he at first thinks is alive because he's got this kind of weird smile on his face. And his scream as the ship gets crushed, it's not, the sub gets crushed, it's not coming back. So that's good to know. But we do have other bad guys, and we do, manage to kidnap one and have the president do a little bit of confrontation with him and so forth. So love that. Love that first episode. Second episode, not quite as good, but still really good because a lot of great stuff happened in it. Like you said, the scene where they're all together in their dress uniforms and toasting all their fallen comrades, and really great scene. And the proposal was pretty cool too, even though I know you don't really like those characters. But I have to say one thing about the final scenes with Chandler and the Doc, though. Darn you, Wendy, you were right. Kevin and I were wrong. And even though Tex really does like the Doc, and Doc likes Tex as a friend pretty clearly, the romantic interest seems to really be between those two. Although I don't know why I didn't sense any of that. I really sensed it between Doc and Tex, but I didn't really sense it between Doc and Chandler. But you saw it, so kudos to you. But I love the scene where Tex was reunited with his daughter. That was awesome. Him, trying to find her and then realizing that, hearing the story of how she had, fought off the bad guys and Tex, being proud and worried at the same time, and then finding her in the crowd. That was a great reunion as well. And you're right, the Master Chief reuniting with his in-laws who had been estranged, and their embrace was really touching stuff too. So it was a great ending. The only thing I would ding on the final episode was the scene where they're bringing in the crop dusting. And even though the Navy folks are like, it's going to cure you. Here, look, it'll happen to us too. We'll breathe it in with you. Just breathe it in. Every single person we saw was compliant. And I just didn't believe that. I mean, there have to be some people who are like, no, they're going to poison us. They're going to kill us. And they're running away. There had to have been some of that. But it was a little too rosy for me. The show is not usually too rosy for me, but that one was a little too, I don't believe that. But the final scene with the Doc getting shot, I agree with you. There were comments online about how you could see her clearly down the hallway. She slumps over as she dies. No, she slumps over as she falls unconscious. That doesn't mean she's dead. And we didn't exactly see where she was shot. Didn't appear to be a head wound. Who knows what's going to happen? I personally think that I agree with you that if the actor wants to leave, she's going to die. But if she doesn't, I think she'll be back.
Yeah, a lot of similar thoughts to the two of you, certainly in the fact that episode 12 it's probably where the season should have ended. I mean, that was, talk about a high point for drama and character and story elements. That was really, really good. The only thing, and it's just a guess, is that maybe at the point that they were filming and shooting, because I believe it's several months ahead of time, they weren't sure if they were going to get a third season, because the last episode seemed like one of those ones you'd get, with the exception of the very final scene, when a show is going out. Everything's wrapped up. You get some very emotional moments, some good character moments, and some good performances. So no problem there. But after you have an episode like number 12, and the way this show certainly has been very willing to really push things and all, I just felt like that last one was just kind of okay. It really was just okay. An enjoyable episode to watch, but not one that I was like really going to enjoy or I'm going to remember all, off season till the next one. It wasn't. It was just like they pulled their foot off the accelerator. We're going to give you a lot of happy stuff and good stuff. And like you said a little bit, Brent, with the stuff with the crop dusting thing, or even a lot of the other stuff that was happening at that compound. It was just going back to some of the complaints we'd had from a couple listeners that it was just a little too simple. Compliance is the right word. Everybody's just going to, just because I say I'm the Navy, and even though these other guys claimed they were and they were the bad guys, now you're going to believe me? So it was a little too simple, which they've, done a good job of staying away from. So loved episode number 12, enjoyed number 13, but also like, yeah. And then you saw something bad coming when the last, 8 minutes or so is nothing but happy stuff. I'm like, okay, what's going to go horribly wrong? And they choose to leave the dock teetering on life or death. It was just a little too simple. Seen too many shows to know somebody was going to get shot by somebody or pushed off a building or something to leave you dangling. So, yeah, I lost a little bit on that very end, but still an outstanding second season. And even though there's not a huge amount of genre left in this show now, I'm still, for the performances and the relationships, and I'm still shipping the dock and Tex, even though I know Captain, now probably Admiral's got a lot there, but I definitely want to see her back.
Yeah, the crop dusting thing, I totally agree. Basically, they had 3 people from the Navy, I think, were able to corral the crowd and keep them all there. So, and maybe I'm including Tex as one of the people from the Navy and his daughter. So I do agree with that, but I was almost more distracted by the special effects of the crop dusting, because I was like, what? But I kind of hand-waved that, I have to admit. The other thing I heard people criticize a lot was the hotel security. It's like the president is in this hotel, and she is the person who is arguably one of the most important people right now. So even though the president pardoned her, so she didn't have someone with her, I would have thought there would have been just security all over the place in the hotel itself. So maybe they'll explain away how, the actual people who were supposed to be securing the hotel were taken out or something by this guy. I'll be curious if they even bothered to try to address that. I did read an article where the showrunners said that they did that on purpose, in terms of they wanted an episode that was fully, that they had enough time that they could really play out the battle with the sub. And also they liked the idea of it not being the last episode. And that's happening more if you think about some other TV shows where a lot of times there's some big action that happens in the episode just prior to the finale, so that the finale is sort of processing what happened and then setting up the next season. But I totally agree. If you had just cut that storyline right when Dr. Scott walks away from Chandler, and that's the end of the episode, that could have been your series finale if you were hedging your bets. I think they already knew that they were renewed, though, which is probably why they decided to throw in that cliffhanger. Regarding Chandler and Dr. Scott, though, you always put the most beautiful people together, and I like Tex, but he's too old and he's not handsome enough for her. So, just from TV formula, TV formula, not going to work.
He's rugged.
But also, I knew that Chandler liked her, because in that episode in season 1, when they're out in the ocean, and Tex even said, like, I only came on this mission to impress the doctor, and you weren't making any move, and all he did was laugh. He didn't say anything. I was like, oh, if he wasn't interested in her, he would have said it then. But all he did was laugh. And then I think it's like the next episode when she comes to rescue them, she kisses Chandler. It's like, that was a clear signal to me. It's like, I mean, not that she was going to like try to, hook up with the guy or anything, but I think it's pretty clear over the seasons. This is not a woman who finds many people sort of cut the mustard in terms of her expectations. The doctor who was her mentor when she learned he was dead, she was really devastated by that. And Chandler seems to be the only other character, and I think to some extent the XO, that she trusts. I think she has a great friendship with Tex, and I think she cares about him, but I don't see them romantically involved. I think she also likes to flirt with him.
Yeah, and I think he knows that too, and he's fine with that.
Yeah. That was my sense from the last couple episodes, where he sort of set himself up as her personal bodyguard, almost.
Yeah. BFF.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, we're running a little long, so I think that's going to do us for this week, folks. Appreciate you tuning in every week, and Kevin and Wendy for being here. I will catch you next time.
Have a great week, gang.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you soon.
We offer several ways for you to get in touch with us. If you come to our website at tuningintoscifitv.com, you can leave a comment on any of our blog posts. There's also a link there over to our discussion forums. You can send us email at feedback@tuningintoscifitv.com. You can leave us voicemail by dialing 206-202-4182, or also on Skype at tuningintoscifitv. You can follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/tuningintosci-fi, or visit our Facebook fan page by following the link on our website.
Tuning into Sci-Fi TV was hosted by Kevin Batchelder, Wendy Hembrock, and Brent Barrett. The theme music for Tuning into Sci-Fi TV is by Beatnik Turtle. Used with permission. Listen to Tuning into Sci-Fi TV on Stitcher Radio on Demand. Download the free app today at Stitcher.com. You've been listening to Tuning into Sci-Fi TV, episode 351, recorded September 12, 2015.